Hello, Moonchild. Welcome to my channel, Flora Mooncraft. I thought I'd share with you my self-love and glamour ritual that helped me bring in love, attract attention, and more self-confidence in more than one way, not just like about my physical looks, but just in general to love myself more. Um, I do this ritual a few times a week, at least twice a week. Um, and I just saw drastic changes in how people treated me, as well as like how I saw myself. So, if you're looking for ritual ideas or you just want to peek into my witchy life, subscribe to my channel to stay updated with ideas and some inspo. So, I do have an altar, so that's what I was lighting in the beginning. But I always start out this ritual with a shower. I cleanse myself of any negative energies or any unwanted energies that may have followed me from the day. And I do say like cleansing affirmations while I'm showering, just like, I'm cleansing myself. So I'm taking a shower with intention. And then after my shower, I do my skincare. So I start the skincare in the shower, but I use my moisturizing time to begin the meditation. I prefer to speak into a mirror, so it's directed right back at me. And I'd say affirmations like, I'm beautiful physically and spiritually. People find my beauty ethereal. Um, Other like minded people are attracted to my energy. They want more when they see me, things like that. I also work with Aphrodite, so I made her this little pocket altar where I keep a couple of spell candles and just some like perfume, things like that. So I'm also just spraying myself with the perfume that like she's enchanted for me because I gave that to her as an offering. So that's like that's my thing for her. So I'm just putting that down. Um And just when you're saying your affirmations, try to be as specific as possible because you don't want to attract any energy. You want to attract specific ones. Okay. But since I work with Aphrodite, I do also use this ritual to offer her some things. So today I'm offering her herbs and a piece of jewelry. So first I'm doing mint. The mint is for attraction and building successful relationships. You can use whatever herbs you want if you want to use any herbs in this ritual. You don't have to do it for Aphrodite. This is just what I do. You can do it for yourself as well. You can just make your own love spell jar if you would like. Then I'm doing rosemary, so people focus on me whenever they see me or whenever I'm talking, if they see me online or in person, whatever the case may be. Um, Then I'm doing catnip for divine feminine energy and also sexual attraction. And lastly, I'm doing hibiscus to bring loving energies to me from others and from myself. Once again, you can use whatever herbs you would like. This is not my love spell. This is not, I just like picked random herbs today, and that's just what I happen to use with those specific intentions. But if you would like to know what actual spell I use, you can just leave it in the comments and I can totally make a video about that as well. But I did light a spell candle, so that is like my spell. But I bought this beautiful pink rosary. I am not Christian, but I really like rosaries. I think they're beautiful and I like the idea of like carrying around some kind of talisman basically. So I got this from a rummage sale as well. So I decided to use that as the piece of jewelry that I was offering to Aphrodite. So whenever I wear it, it will just help embody this energy that I'm putting into it. And then I just do a little prayer and I continue my ritual. Then I move back to my mirror. I say more affirmations to my reflection. You can say whatever you would like, Mine have been more general lately since I'm not trying to attract anything specific besides like self love. But remember that self love can be more than, just loving your face and your body and other people being attracted to your face and your body and things like that. It's also about loving yourself enough to make positive changes in your life or to leave toxic people or toxic situations behind you, or loving yourself enough to just treat yourself like the angel that you are. Okay? Um my spell candle is beginning to burn with my intentions, which I love to see during my ritual time. So you can see it like burning a little more. So that's how I know that like it's working, which is nice. And I do also sell spell candles in my Etsy shop if you are interested in using them for your own rituals. So you can find those below. I do tea light candles and I also do like the taper candles like this one. And they come in little packs. So like you can do it by intention, um, or whatever you would like. Then I'm also adding like lip gloss. And this is enchanted lip gloss that I had Aphrodite enchant for me, but that is just to help one add more power to the things that I'm saying, as well as when I'm speaking, people want to listen to me more and they actually care about what I'm saying. Next, I am going to take my glamour spell that I bottled and I'm just going to pray and put my energy into it just to revamp the intentions of the original spell that I made. I do charge it in the moonlight every month, but this is just a little extra incentive. And so I'm just putting it on the altar also so that it's really getting imbued with my energy. Lastly, I like to write something. Sometimes I do a letter to myself or I do a letter to Aphrodite. Other times I just write different affirmations. It really just depends on the day and how I'm feeling that day and also what I'm trying to bring in with the ritual. Today I'm going to be making a sigil. So I use this paper that I blessed and I use a red pen because I'm doing like a love ritual. I'm making a love sigil. But first I start with the intentions of the sigil. So I'll either write out a sentence or a phrase or a couple of phrases, whatever I decide that day. Um, Today I just did, I'm beautiful, I'm seductive, I'm attractive, something else. I can't remember. Um, but after I'm done writing it out, I remove any vowels and any repeating consonants. And this part can be a little tedious, so take your time. It does take me a minute because you don't realize how many how many letters are repeated and things like that. And by taking out the repeated consonants, I mean like use the first R that you see, but if you see another R, X that second one out and X out the third one, etc. But I know I'm going to keep the R for later on. Once you're done removing all of the vowels and the consonants that are repeated, you will be left with a few letters. Depending on how big your sentence is or your phrase or whatever, will depend on how many letters you have left. I like to write out all the letters so that I can see what I'm left with, and then I begin to make the sigil. I used to make them by doing the alphabet in a circle, and then I would just connect the lines. So let's say I was left with B, R, and G. I would draw a line from B to R and then from R to G, and like that would be my sigil. But I wasn't really connecting with that way for some reason. I guess it didn't feel very personal, and I just didn't like how they looked, And I'm a very visual person. I want my altars to be what I deem beautiful, and I want my sigils to be beautiful. And I don't know, that way just is like not as pretty because the lines are always in such weird positions. So I actually just started taking the letters, and I would take the shapes and the different lines that make up the letters, and I put them wherever I want. So let's say I have a B, and sometimes I choose a lowercase or an uppercase. If I did a lowercase B, I would draw a line, and then maybe somewhere else I'll put like the curve of where like the B would be. And it doesn't have to be in the same, like it doesn't have to actually make the letter, but as long as I use all of the pieces of the letter, if that makes sense. I hope it does. This is what there's a witch on TikTok that I follow, and I love her, and like that's what she does. And ever since I started making my sigils like that, I really feel like they work more just because of the fact that I just like how they look more. And I know it doesn't really matter, so you can do it however you want. I'm not sure about any other ways of making sigils. I don't use sigils that often. Um I just started working with them more because I got more comfortable with it. But this is just the way that I do it. And once I'm done with the initial like sigil itself, I just add any extra lines or dots just to make it a little more pretty. And last but not least, I'm going to take the sigil, I fold the paper towards myself to bring the energy to me, and then I am just burning it using my spell candle. And that will help bring the energies into reality. And that's what it looks like when it's done burning. I did pour it out with some water because it was a lot of fire. But make sure if you're going to use if you're going to burn anything, you practice fire safety. And thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.